Taurus the Bull. We're officially now in Taurus the Bull. Full moon in Taurus, November 4, 2017. 11 is the month of gate opening. It's the number of working together, working your physical, divine orchestrated physical human essence, your being, your soul, connected to your consciousness, connected to the people around you who are also on a verge or living through consciousness. So it's a gate opener, and we tend to connect with those people when we see the number 11 or 1 or 101 or 111. Number 4 is the number of the earth, stability, structure, security. Although in Chinese cultures, 4 equals to death. But when we look at the seasons, the 4 seasons, we are now in Scorpio, the polar opposite, the inner self of Taurus, the other side of Taurus. We learn that without death, there's no life. Without life, there's no death. Whatever lives must die, and vice versa, and that they are one of the same when you flip the coin. Okay, so we are in the autumn season where everything slowly starts to die. We're officially in November. Happy November to everyone. To all the Celts, I said the Celts, to all the Celtic people and the Irish. We just had Samhain, Halloween, where the veil is thinnest and connections to the other realm of spirit is a lot easier to connect with, which 3 and 1 equals to 4 as well in numerology. So the 31st equals to that 4. Okay. So when we are aware, when we're conscious that life and death is on one point, it's the self, it's the same, we become a little bit more, and when we face it and when we're at ease with it, that we're all one day going to go and we're going to leave something behind, whether it's a child, whether it's a legacy, a business, a video, something we always leave behind. Or perhaps it could just be that nice word or feeling or just a sensation we've left our neighbor. Okay, so Taurus is all about beauty. She's ruled by Venus, and her polar opposites in the original Mesopotamian religions, Taurus was the first. There was no Aries. There was no god of war that was called Aries. The god of war, Mars, was actually Scorpio. In all the ancient religions and all the ancient magic schools, the original god and goddess, Venus and Mars, was Taurus and Scorpio. Okay? So, Taurus is the goddess of love. She's much more than that, though, I'll tell you that. She governs banks, the home. She controls that, okay? Although we may see Virgo in that sense as well, but Virgo's more about that analytical mind, you know, of organizing, of keeping things clean in the home and things of that. Taurus is all about beautifying the environment, making her guests and those who live with her at ease, wanting to come back home, wanting to live in this beautiful environment, okay? Aesthetically pleasing, and or if it's not, there will be a lot of plants, a lot of flowers, a lot of earth in the home, okay? Incense, so on and so forth, bringing the earth, the outdoors into the home. But like I said, Taurus also rules agriculture, banking systems, money in general. So Taurus is a very structured sign. Okay? If you're not seeing any form of benefit in your working environment within the last cycle, the last 12 months, you should be seeing it within this cycle. of Taurus and Scorpio up to the new moon or the full moon, okay? The next coming. Because we are also next year, the day after my birthday, I'm born the May 14th. So May 15th, 2018, we are entering Taurus and Uranus, which is another form of a cycle of, changes in the banking system, changes in a lot of environmental organizations. Okay, Taurus also governs organized organizations, nonprofit organizations, perhaps certain forms of schools also. Like, for example, gardening schools, or cooking. Taurus is also a cook, a great cook. Or the arts, such as singing, dancing. These can also be, if you're not in school for them, or if you haven't enrolled your children, or you're not enrolled in them, perhaps you have the gift of teaching. If it's not your own school, it is to be enrolled in the school and to teach one of these. Musical instruments, vocals, singing vocals. Taurus governs the throat, very sensitive. So during this time, make sure your throat is taken care of. Make sure your needs are spoken, communicate them. Bring in some eucalyptus and peppermint into your environment. Get yourself, if you don't work with incense, get yourself a diffuser and put a little bit of essential oils in there. Okay, if you're a little sensitive to applying even the ones that you are told that you can dilute with water or another carrier oil and apply. So remember, maybe you're working in a bank. Maybe you're the manager of a bank or a CEO, or you just work as a teller or a counselor, management for finances, or an advisor, okay? So Taurus rules all this. Even supermarkets, like I said, cooking, veganism, vegetation, so much, it's endless, okay? It's completely endless. But it's all about making money, and it's all about incoming gains. Taurus is all about incoming, taking things in, breaking it down, becoming what it is digesting. Okay? Scorpio has that in common as well. That's why it's the two feminine. Feminine is all about taking things in, and the feminine energy, and to digest that, okay? So we're going to be doing a full moon reading here with the Babylonian tarot deck here. I usually would have this video out many days earlier, but I've been so busy. Devoted myself 42 to 45 hours a week in an organization that involves finances as well. So well, look at that. Speaking of 9 of discs gain. Speaking of Taurus, do you see the agriculture there? The discs, any card that we receive that says discs or is all about finances, okay? It's money, cash, coins, gains, incoming gains, 9. 9 of discs. So 9 is a completion of something, is a wholesome of something. It could be that you're finally seeing the results of 9 years of work towards something. For 9 years, 1 year prior, we're almost in 2018, okay? So we only have 2 months left of 2017. And many people are wondering when they're going to finally receive everything they've worked really hard for. Sometimes we work, and we're like, when are we going to see our results? Are you seeing your results? You will be seeing your results. And you know what? Most of us, we do have results, okay? Just pay attention, be aware. Remember 11. 11 is a gate opener. It is being conscious. Be conscious. Be mindful of what's around you. Be mindful of what people are talking about. If you are in a company, everything's become redundant. You've been there for years. You're one of the top, or even if you're not, and you feel you deserve a promotion, talk to your CEO or your manager or the team leader, talk, express. If you're kind of shy and you don't know if you deserve it in their eyes, bring it up. Ask about it. You can give, as an example, you can just ask and be like, I'd like to know about our company promotions. When do you feel people deserve a promotion? Something along those lines. Doesn't have to be exact, but something along those lines. So there is gains there. You will receive the money, because I'm seeing the money. Okay, there's money. There's an abundance of it coming in. Princess of Cups, Ishara. So here's this intuitive. This also involves a scorpion-like energy, because we were talking about that feminine, right? If you're a Scorpio, or if you're a Taurus and you're watching this, if you have it in your moon, if you have it in your sun, if you have it in your, particularly if you're a moon in Taurus, then I'd say even better, if you're a sun in Scorpio and moon in Taurus and you're watching this, then this is definitely resonating with you, okay? And you're receiving that financial stability or that promotion, or you're finally gaining the efforts of maybe in the beginning when you started your business with arts, with music or whatever, you weren't seeing a lot of gains, okay? But now is the time where your business is taking off. Also, foreign exchange, that's also governed by Taurus as well, okay? Because Taurus owns. Taurus is all about I own. So Taurus will hire all the chit-chatters to be tellers, or teller of the business, or, but Taurus owns the company. Taurus holds on to this money and says, you know what? This is my house. I will rent it out. This is my house. This is my business. I will hire the top of the best to reflect my business, as an example, But a Princess of Cups, that scorpion-like energy, will use her intuition and her instinct to team up with the correct people, okay? She's all about looking into the matter with her big, bright eyes and looking in and seeing things for what it is. So these two signs, don't buy into bullshit. You will, as an example, if you're an actor, whether you do this as a real life thing, as a job or not, Taurus and Scorpio can see through your acting abilities. See things for what it is, okay? See the truth behind the illusion. See the truth behind the veil. Okay, and you may wonder, you may think, okay, well, everyone's truth is different. Yes, but at the end of the day, a fact is a fact. Okay, so they'll be able to see through your facts, see through the fact of what has happened, what is going on, what it is that's happening, what it is that you want, what your intentions are, despite what your words are saying, despite what your actions are saying. Because Taurus and Scorpio knows, not even just believes, but knows that even actions can be deceiving. So they will look into it. They will not tell you right away, I don't buy it, I don't believe it, but they will study you. These are signs that will observe and study and work with their intuition and then their logic. They work with their gut, that sixth sense. The senses as a whole, okay? Taurus is the 5 sense, Scorpio is the 6th sense. So connecting these two together, let me tell you, I see like a career in investigations, or, perhaps, if you're Taurus and your best friend is a Scorpio, or if you're a Scorpio and you're thinking of getting married to a Taurus, or you're a couple, Taurus and Scorpio, and you're thinking of opening a business, or you're thinking of getting into a career or something, or you're just naturally this way together, or perhaps you have these two traits, within you. Investigate with money, or investigations with life and death is a very high interest for you. Investigations of rights, human rights, investigations of cultural extinctions or histories, and not believing the actual history of what's been written, but doing your own research. Because we've got that Mars and Pluto. Mars is all about the war. Scorpio governs that still. But Pluto is that slower, cool death, regeneration, transformation. And then Taurus is all about structure, structure, structure. She's also Venus, right? She will make things more compassionate, so she'll make it a little subtle. Okay, but most wars are started because and continued because of the effort or the gain of women, of beauty of a woman in particular, right? So what is it, 80% of gains of war is women and children, okay, in the home. So wars are started because of women too, right? Or for the income and gain of women, exchange of women, unfortunately. But those two together are great, are exceptionally great in investigations, okay? So for example, agents of debt collections or theft in banks, and you want to partner up and perhaps become an investigator or advance investigations for certain organizations, okay? Maybe you're interested in going to school for that and receiving a degree or certificate or diploma, okay? There are colleges and universities that have degrees or courses that have advanced investigative things like that, where you can really put your passion into a career and be paid for it, and also putting things to justice, okay? So that was that. There's the incoming gains with that, okay? Even in your workplace, depending on wherever it is that you work, it doesn't matter. You are bringing that to the table. That's your character. That's your character. You have an investigative nature. You don't buy into shit. Even if your manager or team leader is telling you something, you just stare and you're like, that's not what I see. You don't tell them that. You wait until the right time and then you communicate it, okay? Because they're natural investigative people. Taurus and Scorpio are naturally, the energies itself doesn't even have to be the people. This time of year, people start to feel like the changes, right? And their bodies it's like a shock wave. Their bodies start to go through different experiences, and Prince of Discs, again, we got this in the last reading. This is another Taurus like energy. So, like I said, there's a lot of receiving, being this secure person, okay? Security is a state of mind, first and foremost. We can lose all physical money. We can lose it. But when we're secure up here, or if we're thinking about, if you lose a job, if you lose a position, and you're secure up here, you're going to take actions to look for another job. You're going to take, this is an example, I'm not saying you're going to lose a job, but you're going to take actions to better yourself, to go apply for that school, to want to do better. You're going to do that, okay? And this is the time, seasons, right? The seasons, the autumn season, it's the transitional time where our bodies need to adjust. We would take in more water, drink in more water. Still try to go out and get some walking, get some air, even though it's kind of cold and raining, or, and there's less sun, and the clouds, you can hardly even see them. Everything's just gray, but get out, okay? A lot of people in the workplace are talking about their old problems. That's being pushed out. That's a lot of Scorpion energy too, okay? It's being pushed out, and it's so intense. The energies are so intense that it's like an electromagnetic thing that's going around, okay? All around your workplace. It's fine. Get it out. Don't hold it in, because Taurus and Scorpio holds everything in. This is the time where you'll hold it in a little bit, and then it will just come out through other people's mouths, okay? Two of Cups, love. Something about love right now, okay? So this is a loving time where you are appreciating everything, okay? You're appreciating... Hold on, let's just see if this is about a person or if it's your workplace or what. Okay, this is just a feeling in general. This is about loving yourself, appreciating what's been given to you, finally seeing and seeing your own worth, okay? Seeing, loving your own worth enough where you see the two hands, it's like, that's like that 11 number, okay? You have one and you have another one that is able to see, appreciate their own efforts, that they reflect to each other. Scorpio and Taurus. I love myself enough where I'm able to give. Because I give to myself, I'm able, whatever I've taken in from the universe, I can give back just by being myself. And you don't have to say anything, although we want to communicate our needs. But sometimes we don't have to say anything. Our presence, our energy, our eyes, the signals we give, people pick up on that. So that's a form of love, okay? Because they can pick up on it. Okay, and we all have our own way to do that. But it's a spiral, right? One more card. Ten of Discs, completion. I think all of the cards that came up are literally like, it's funny because we're talking about Earth, and Taurus is an earth sign. Scorpio is a water sign. We've literally gotten all earth and water cards here. People have been investigating their own roots, their own ancestry. This is the tree of life. This is your own DNA. This is your own tree, family tree. They've been very interested. They've been on that verge. People have been taking DNA tests, contacting me. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. You know, although, you know, certain cultures or nationalities were different 1,000 years ago, that region, whatever is given to you in the DNA test paper, that region, you want to look at that region and study what it was 10 years ago, or sorry, 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, okay? And if your DNA test is able to tell you how far ago there was that mixing, then in your DNA, like how many generations ago were they born in that area, your ancestors, then you want to search what was that culture at that time there, what dominant culture, although every country has different ethnicities, and maybe it won't be able to tell you that. The DNA test will not be able to tell you what ethnicity you were. It will just, the modern ones can't. They just tell you what country or what region, okay? And so every few years, a country changes its name. But if you do find out how many generations ago, then you want to look into what was that country at that time called, okay? And what religion was dominant in that country at that time, okay? So there's a completion. Remember, this entire month is all about 11, okay? November 11. November in general. Yesterday was November the 1st. Today's November the 2nd. It's gate openers, okay, guys? So if you've been noticing that everybody's talking about things that are so deep and intense, like I said, it's that Mars, it's that Scorpio, it's that Pluto, it's that Venus, it's that shit needs to happen so that you become secure in your feelings, in your emotions, in your relationships, in your home, with your money, with your state of mind, with your heart, your everything. Everything is trying to break up so it can come together again, because that life and death is coming together. A lot of people have been passing on. A lot of us have members of the family who've passed, or we know with people who have worked who have passed. So this is a time where people are questioning, what is life? What is reality when we're all going to die, right? So make the most of life. Love yourselves, love everybody around you, with dignity, with respecting yourself. Always, always, always respect yourself and your environment. If someone is giving you shit or disrespecting you, by all means, shut the door on them. You do not need to give them an excuse. You do not need to tell them why. They should come to, that's their own karma. Okay? So I hope you have a great full moon, and see you soon, and see you on the new moon of Scorpio.